evening, gentlemen. MGTOW Mando here, and because it's a fairly slow night where I'm at with some potentially interesting weather, I decided I'd go ahead and come on and do a little bit of a hobby stream. Um, Anyone who wishes to join in, ask. I'll put the link in the chat. Plan to go for about 2 hours the way I normally do. And just going to be a chill, discuss what I'm working on and the techniques that I'm using. Any questions, feel free to ask it. Any nasty comments, feel free to use those too. Any engagement is good engagement. But tonight what I am working on is a Horus Heresy era Damocles pattern Rhino for the Imperial Space Marines, or correction, Demos pattern Rhino. This is a APC vehicle used by the Adeptus Astartes in the Horus Heresy era of the timeline for Warhammer 40,000. I've already done some preparatory work for where we're focusing on primarily this evening, which is the interior. I'm hoping I'll get this far enough that it'll be to the point where I classify it as table ready, but I'm not going to guarantee that's going to be the case, because every time I try to set a goal like that, I always end up finding more details that I want to add in that I've missed. And this particular Marine here is a member of the squad that this vehicle is being done up for. So part of what will be discussed while I'm working on this is thought processes behind why I'm equipping the vehicle the way I am, and why these guys, or why this particular squad is getting a transport, whereas most of their buddies, they're just using their good old-fashioned boots and legs to get from point A to point B. So, starting off, looking at the interior, you notice I've done a kind of a steel slash tarnished steel base coat in here. That's because for a good chunk of this, I really don't think that the Space Marines would have done a huge amount of interior decorating on their combat transports. However, being that Warhammer 40,000 and the Horus Heresy has this weird mix of super futuristic and borderline gothic and kind of steampunk, part of what's being done, or what I'm going to do with this, is use various coppers and brasses to highlight various panels. And D-Man, good to see you as well. Slick South, I saw you in the chat earlier, so I want to go ahead and call you out. If folks are interested in joining in, just drop a comment into the chat. If you're not on Red Pill Rhino's Gilded, let me know, and I will drop an invite for you in the chat. Otherwise, there is an invite already sitting in Red Pill Rhino's gilded chats. You're more than welcome to join in. All I ask is a YouTube-friendly audio avatar and a good microphone so we can hear one another. It kind of goes against the idea of having this recorded if I'm not recording what I'm doing. Oops. I will get better with this over time. I just normally don't do this sort of thing where people are seeing it. Okay, Ghost Pill, I will go ahead and drop the link for you in here real quick. And there you go. Like I said, all I ask is that you have a YouTube-friendly audio avatar and a good microphone. You don't have to be on camera unless you want to be. And my one request, don't get my channel zapped. I would be very annoyed if that happens. But back to what I was saying a second ago, the interior of this is going to be pretty stark metallics. Like I said, I don't really think that the Space Marines would go to a huge amount of effort to create a lot of really in-depth in interior decorating on their vehicles, at least their combat transports, with exceptions being Rhino or not Rhinos, but Land Raiders and Thunderhawk gunships. Uh, but going with a copper for part of the framing here, because one, I think it gives a nice contrast to the steel and chrome color palette that is currently on this, and two, it gives you something that your eye is actually drawn to, especially when the vehicle is completely closed up. I'm debating going ahead and putting some phosphorescent paint to give a glow effect onto this little control panel that's in here, making it look like there's actually a lit up component inside the vehicle. And I think that's about all that's going to need to be done there. So I'm moving to the other side to do the same deal. Now, in 40K lore and novels, it is frequently described as having, or vehicles are frequently described as having controls with brass-rimmed and copper-rimmed displays. I have to forgive the shaking. My fuzzy little co-host is getting a little scritchy and she has the bad habit of vibrating everything when that happens. But like I was saying, in the novels, the lore, and a lot of the other supporting media, the Space Marine vehicles and control mechanisms, and just human technology in general, is often described as having lots of stark steel and lots of brass and copper for decor. Hey, we got MGTOW Outlaw joining in the party.
What's up, man?
Not a lot. Figured kind of some dead time, so may as well jump on.
Heck yeah, bro.
So, how's your day been?
It's been slow. Nothing much. I had a niece that was just born, so
Oh, congratulations.
heck yeah, man.
Uh,
So
so,
other than that, it's been kind of slow.
so for a brother or a sister?
No, this was my nephew's daughter.
Ah, well, congratulations again.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, I very much doubt that I'm going to be giving any news like that anytime in the near future, but hey, God works in mysterious ways.
Yeah.
So, Miss or D-Man 50 is giving you a salute of
Hey, D
sorts.
man. What's up, brother?
So what's the weather doing where you're at?
It is 51 degrees and it's cloudy. So it's been kind of wet the past few days.
Yeah, sounds like you got a front going through yourself.
Yep.
Yeah, where I'm at, we've got a snowstorm that's trying to kick up.
Mm.
I say trying because it's been spitting snow a good chunk of the day, but hasn't been any accumulation that I've seen so far.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got Ghost Pill joining the party. How you doing, sir?
Oh, doing just fine. How you doing?
Not bad. Oh, life treating you okay currently?
Eh, work slowed down a little bit. It's hard to put fencing up when there's snow and it's sub-zero temperatures at night. So frost
I,
has
f-
set in, so things are a little slow.
I
But
feel you there.
Heck yeah, man.
I'll be picking up some hours as a range officer at the local gun store. So
Oh, cool.
Heck
that'll
yeah.
be a kind of a nice change of pace.
So, what kind of firearms do you anticipate doing work with, if you don't mind my asking?
Well, I'll just be a range officer, so I'll be overseeing people shooting their whatever firearms they bring into the range. Um, but I do help out upstairs in the gun store every once in a while. I know the owners, so I do help out at the gunsmithing table here and there, mostly with AR stuff.
Hey, good deal if you can get it.
Hell yeah.
Hey, any experience is good experience, right?
Oh yeah, well I've built several ARs and I dabble with disassembling all my own firearms, cleaning them, knowing how everything operates, so that if anything happens, I'm capable of possibly repairing it if it's not too destroyed. But
Nice. So, what's your favorite platform to work on?
I would say ARs are the most simplistic. They're the easiest.
Okay.
Um, AKs are relatively easy as well to disassemble and go through, but um, bolt action rifles are pretty easy. But I like taking apart and going through lever action rifles. That's kind of a task. I kind of enjoy it.
So, you like the challenge.
Yeah, if I'm not being challenged, I get bored pretty easy.
No, I
Heck
get that. I really do get that. With what I do, the biggest hazard I face is boredom and monotony.
Yeah, especially out here where I live, man. Once winter hits, everything comes to a grinding halt. So you
Well,
gotta try.
you don't have to give specifics, but what region are you in?
Oh, I live in western Wyoming.
Oh, wow, that's pretty desolate.
Yeah, for the most part, where I live is pretty unique because we're in a mountain valley and we have almost no wind. And spring and summertime, we have more green than probably the rest of the state. It's pretty amazing. But
Yeah,
But you
that is.
pay for it in winter with absolutely horrendous conditions.
yeah, I mean, and riding snowmobiles is a lot of fun, but you can only ride so much before, dude, you wear yourself out and all you want to do is sleep.
I
Mhm.
get you. I really do. So it sounds like you're sanding something in the background.
Yeah, I'm alongside you. I'm actually working on my own thing too. So I
Oh,
am putting together a U-Haul truck.
very nice. Do you go for historical accuracy on your kits, or do you kind of just go ham on it?
A little bit of both. When I find the correct cab for the trucks that I'm going to use, I usually do a lot of customizing and modifying to get it right. And then I'll build the boxes and then we go from there and the paint and the body work. So, but yeah, I kind of do a little bit of both.
Hey, Ghost Pill, D-Man has a nice comment for you.
Oh, cool. Thanks, man.
Yeah,
This will,
for those of you who are new to one of my streams, I don't generally read all the chats, but what I do like to do is when I see a good one, I like to throw it up on the screen so that way everyone can see it. Because honestly, when we're doing a topic show, it frequently breaks the flow.
mhm.
Yeah,
But
I don't.
tonight's just a BS chit chat hobby stream, so pretty much anything goes as long as it won't get me nuked.
Yeah, I don't really have a whole lot of like hobbies in the way of building models or anything like that, but generally I do a lot of mechanic work on vehicles
Hey,
when I have opportunity. So I usually do that. Like I said, work on firearms when I have opportunity, and I like growing plants. Like I'll take trees from little seeds and I'll start growing trees from seeds, and it can be
well,
pretty difficult to get those things to take and stay. Man, they die real easy.
and unlike what I'm doing, those are actually some useful skills to have. So I'm not going to knock it in even the slightest. We all have what keeps us from going absolutely bonkers insane on people. So
Yes, I highly recommend if you can get into a hobby, get into one and enjoy it, man. You know, great way to get your mind off things.
so Ghostpill, you got any big plans for the New Year's holiday?
No, I don't. I don't really celebrate holidays. Um, with kind of the stuff that I've been through in life, I've been divorced. I had two kids from two different moms. I've been through the horrors of family court with two different children, and
Yeah.
basically after losing both of my daughters, I signed my rights over to one of them, and just with everything, I just holidays ain't my thing, man.
You know, that's completely fair. I understand. You know, I for one am always trying to be there for people who are having a rough go at things. So I very well
And
may go ahead and do a stream on that night just to give folks a place to come hang out and just not feel left out.
yeah, that's probably a good thing. Yeah, but I've been over stuff a long time. It doesn't really bother me anymore, especially after I signed my rights away to my one daughter. As difficult as that was,
Hey,
it's taken like a it's taken like a metric ton of stress and pain and anger off my shoulders, and it's given me a new perspective. So it's actually done me a lot of good.
well, don't know if you're a believer, but I'm just going to go ahead and say I'll keep you in my prayers.
Oh, I'm definitely a believer. That's another reason why I don't celebrate the holidays, because
Yeah, the cooking show. We're gonna cook today.
what are you going to cook?
Oh, that was Brandon stream in the background. Sorry about that.
Oh,
That's okay.
Yeah, no. I'm watching his stream. I'm talking to you
That,
guys.
that's one of the pitfalls of live entertainment. You never know when something weird's gonna show up.
although I do RC cars every once in a while, and I have quite a bit of money into those. I gotta rebuild a couple things. Maybe I'll pull that stuff out and start working on that.
Do you have a particular favorite model that you have, or just
I
whatever
have
catches your interest?
a Traxxas TRX4. It's a crawler. Um,
Rock crawler.
yeah, they're technically rock crawlers, and spent a lot of money doing a lot of altering them, because when I was living back in Colorado, I would go to meets and compete
Very
and mess
nice.
around and hang out with other people. There's not really a community like that out here because I'm in the middle of nowhere, and I live in a valley with a population of like probably at most 4,000 people. So
Yeah, kind of a captive audience type scenario.
Heck
Yeah,
yeah.
it's rough getting any kind of community going in a group that small. So, Outlaw, in your U-Haul truck, have you decided if you're going to go with one of the little state decals that they've been throwing on them in recent years, or are you just going to go
Um,
with the
This is going to be one of the old ones from
Okay,
back
so
like in the 1970s. The
okay, so
Ford
before they
F.
started throwing their little factoids on the sides.
Exactly. I've also got a school bus going over here somewhere. What did I do with it? There it is. That I'm going to complete at some point. I got to get back on it. It's a GMC school bus, like an older one. I don't really care for the newer vehicles in this culture. I like the old stuff. So
Where each individual vehicle had its own soul.
exactly. So if I make anything, I try to go for something a little bit older because it looked better to me, like you said. So yeah, but this is a 1970 Ford S600, and it's one of them
Nice.
old U-Haul trucks. It's got the metal colored box on the back with the orange stripe,
Oh yeah,
the old school
I
with the
think I've
black
seen
bumpers.
photos of those.
Do what now? You have?
Yeah, I think I've seen photos of those, and I think we lost Ghost Pill.
Oh no. But
Well,
yeah,
he's
I like it.
he's welcome to jump back on if he wants to.
But yeah, to me, I don't know. The old stuff has a lot more character to it.
Hey, we got ourselves a Jackal in the chat.
Can
How you
you
doing,
hear
Jackal?
me? Am I coming through okay?
You're coming through clear enough.
Okay.
And Ghost Bill's back.
Yeah, I lost connection.
It's okay, man.
So I have good news. My
Oh,
PC is not fucked.
remember, Jackal, we are on YouTube.
Okay, it's not screwed or fried. It was probably just a surge that caused the motherboard to, I guess, activate some sort of failsafe to prevent it from getting overvolted.
So it's not a complete loss for you then.
No, not at all. Actually, everything's back to normal. I'm on the new PC now.
Outstanding.
And even better, I've got the new drawing tablet hooked up and I'm using it too. It's a whole lot better than using keyboard and mouse. Thank God.
I believe you, man.
Oh, God.
MM43, nice to see you.
Actually, I should probably bring the. Oop.
So,
Mic up
Jackal,
there.
are you working on anything particular this evening to blow off some steam, or just decide to come over and shoot the fecal matter?
I'm just shooting the feces. I mean, I'm working on that. Uh, I guess you could call it a cover, like a book cover or something for a project of mine. It's that one where I'm drawing that lycanthrope that had limbs blown off by a 90mm high explosive shell.
Hey, Outlaw, D-Man's posted something that you might find interesting.
Ah, yes, Dale Earnhardt. I know exactly who he's talking about.
Yeah,
Good
I don't
old
know enough about NASCAR to know one way or the other there, so I'll take your
yeah,
word for it.
yeah. Dale Earnhardt is the iconic number 3 in NASCAR. He was a 7-time champion, won the Daytona 500 back in '98. His son Junior went on to win the 500 twice. He was like one of the biggest icons of the sport, but he died in the Daytona 500 a few years later.
Yeah, wasn't he one of the ones that had one of those weird separation fracture things occur?
He had, so from what I remember reading, he had the Hans device wasn't created at the time, which is supposed to restrain neck movement in the car.
Yeah.
It was some sort of a basal skull fracture.
Yeah, that's the one I'm thinking of.
Yeah.
Where it's one of these things where the chest restraints kept him in place the way they were supposed to, but his head moved a lot more than it was supposed to have moved.
Right. Yeah.
What's your opinion on Kyle Busch?
Oh, very crybabyish, very controversial, but he's a damn good wheelman.
I hated his attitude. He seemed very arrogant.
Yeah, Kyle Busch was very hated by a lot of people. He always
When you
cried about
say
everything.
was, did he get out of the sport willingly, or did he have something happen?
No, he's still in the sport. What happened? He lost his major sponsor, M&M's. So he is now with Richard Childress, which is ironically Dale Earnhardt's old team. And he's driving the 8 car. So I guess you could say he's matured some. He's got a son that's now racing in the small league, so he's kind of, I don't know what you'd call it. He's kind of starting to slow down. But yeah, he's always been one of the most hated drivers in NASCAR, but at the same time, the dude can drive.
Is it one of these things where he's hated but respected, or is it just straight up
Yeah,
hated?
hated, but yeah, he's got the respect of people. Yeah, it's a love-hate relationship, basically.
It's like he's arrogant, but he kind of has the skill and talent to back it up.
Yeah,
Well, really bad analogy, but it sounds like Tom Cruise's character from the original Top Gun.
Like he's kind of an asshole because he's so arrogant, but at the exact same time, he can
But
back up what he says.
yeah, but people respect him because he can walk the talk.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't follow hardly any sports, so
I
when you
don't
guys start
anymore
talking
either.
sports, it goes right over my head.
Yeah,
I
I'm
don't
not-
either. I
I'm
don't
not-
follow NASCAR closely anymore either. But
Not a sports guy. Not really a sports guy. Fuck.
Days of Thunder. Yep, I remember that movie. That was a good movie.
It's better than Butt Thunder. Ugh.
So, that was also a Tom Cruise movie.
Yep, I remember watching that a couple of times. There was a time when he was putting out some stuff that was reasonably good on a regular basis.
Yeah.
And then he started going weird.
To me, if you're gonna watch a NASCAR movie, the best one to me was Stroker Ace with Burt Reynolds and Jim Neighbors.
You're probably going to hate me for saying this, but about the only Burt Reynolds movie that I remember watching was Smokey and the Bandit.
Yeah. That seems to be the one that everybody remembers him from. That's like the Southern National Anthem.
The Southern National Anthem.
And I'll be completely honest, I frequently get him mixed up with the guy who was in Miami Vice, the original Miami Vice,
Oh, yeah.
Tom Selleck.
Yeah.
I know I'm probably speaking absolute heresy.
Magnum, you talking about Magnum PI?
Yeah, that's probably the right one. Like I said, I know I'm probably speaking absolute heresy right now.
Oh, no. No, you're all right.
Heresy doesn't really exist in entertainment. It's just, it's this or it's that. No one
That
cares.
was a joke, Jackal. You remember, I'm a Star Wars fan. I'm used to the fandom being incredibly toxic to people who don't share all of the agreements.
See, this is why I don't really participate in that shit. Oh, that slipped up again. I don't participate in that.
I'm not aiming to ever get monetized, so a few slips I'm not going to get worried about. Just don't sound like a sailor on shore leave.
Oh gosh, that's pretty bad. But yeah,
Mm.
considering that you're just a guy trying to help other guys, including the fact that you're a vet, you're probably not going to get many nods from you, boob.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As
Which is
soon as I,
ironic.
if I ever get enough people watching this that I can switch over to Rumble, I intend to. But that's one of those. If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, oh well.
Why is my fuel filter wrench inside of my RC bin?
Um, I have no idea.
MM43. I had not heard that one until you made or put it or posted that comment, and I'm just gonna say this when it comes to any fandom. All of us got into these shows, books, comics, whatever it is that we're into, because there was something about it that we enjoyed. I am not going to mock you for enjoying something differently than I do. Me, I like Star Trek and Star Wars because I like seeing cool sci-fi ships doing cool sci-fi stuff. The human story, okay, yeah, that's neat, that drives it forward, but I just want to get back to seeing things blowing up.
I
I'm
can agree with
simple.
that.
I'm
I think
simple.
that's why I like Gundam so much.
You just like watching stuff blow up.
Well, I like seeing giant robots shoot guns and shit at each other, and yeah.
Okay. Well, since you like a particular style with women, then maybe Infinite Stratos might be a funny one for you.
Mm,
It'll piss you off though.
And D-Man, yes, I do have a Rumble. No, I don't have the link readily available because honestly, I'm doing this off of one monitor, and I found trying to stream and trying to do anything on any other platform simultaneous will shut things down. I think both Outlaw and Jackal were on with me one time when I did try to do that and ended up disappearing.
He
yeah.
disappeared like Houdini.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
um I want to say my screen name over on Rumble is the same one that or no, it's not exactly the same one. It is actually MGTOW Mando over on Rumble, but if you're able to sub, great. If not, it's not a big deal because honestly, I don't have hardly anything over there. I've yet to figure out how to transfer the videos I'm doing here on YouTube over to Rumble.
Yeah.
I really need to go ahead and get the lead out and actually do that, but yeah, it is what it is. Kind of like some of the other people in our community, I am a little on the tech-tarded side.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. I know exactly that feeling.
I actually wasn't referring to you there, Jackal.
Oh no, I am. I had my buddy come over today to help kind of analyze what in the name of Mike I did to this computer. Um, and once I explained it to him, he gave me that look of, "Are you actually serious?" So it's good that nothing broke. I don't have to replace anything, but just the fact that I was close to being
Oh,
about $3,000 out of luck because of one mistake kind of made me
okay.
wake up.
Hang on, Jackal. Did your friend give you a look that translates kinda to this? Thank you, MGTOW Outlaw, for this particular.
Yes. Yes. Just yes. Because I quite literally essentially plugged 2 sources of power into the PC at one time and basically turn the PC into a giant transformer, basically.
Oh, I love that bumper, man. I use that thing all the time.
So, Jackal, I don't know if you've ever watched the first live action Transformers flick. You basically pulled a ratchet on your computer.
Mm.
Well, yeah.
When he walked into the power wires and blew the transformer
Yeah.
at the end of the block.
That's essentially what I did, because I had of course the PC was on. I was on a StreamYard call with you guys, and I was trying to get this tablet set up so I could show you guys it operating in real time. And then I thought, oh, this is a USB Type-C cord. I got a port for that on the front of my case. I'll plug it in here. The second that plug made a complete connection in the port, computer, everything went black. I tried to turn the computer on again. The power button was irresponsive, and the USB-C port smelled like smoke. So, I was concerned, you know.
Yeah, I know how much you spent on that machine.
And I'm still spending on it.
Mm.
Yeah,
Okay,
those that new RAM that I just got, that 8,000 megahertz RAM I got, the motherboard can't handle it.
Oh shit!
Too fast. It's too fast.
I like MM43's comment here.
Mando on tech, it depends who you are using as a reference. If it's the captain, then all of us are. But I believe we are all pretty close to average. Yeah, if you're using a PC relatively often, then you're gonna have average experience with it. Now, if you're somebody like Blake or Tommy D or Riggs, then you're gonna have an above average, for sure, understanding of computers. Tommy does it because, he's just one of those tech guys. He likes technology and he works around it all day.
D-Man,
Riggs
thank you
builds
very much for
PCs.
that. Like I said, there's not a lot there. Right now, I mainly use Rumble to upload stop-motion videos that I've worked on. There will be more coming at some point this year. I'll be honest, I've been lazy.
Haven't we all?
I
When was the last time you guys saw me make a bullshit report?
Well, an official bullshit report, I'm not entirely sure.
It's been months.
The things you occasionally do to Rhino that could be classified as borderline bullshit reports.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, daggone it.
Hell yeah, man.
So, New Year's Eve. I know I don't really have anywhere that I'm planning to go, because for me it's just another day.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, just another mundane day.
Does anyone that's currently here actually have any plans for that particular period of time, even if it is just going out to a local pub crawl?
Not that I know of.
Nope. We usually just stay here at my house and just pop open the Martinelli's cider and wait for the ball to drop.
Okay.
That's it.
Outlaw,
No
you're
plan.
in the... Say again?
I don't really have any plans. I'll probably go over to a friend's house to hang out, but nothing exciting.
Well, okay. Outlaw, you're in the Eastern time zone, correct?
Whatever Alabama is, I think that's central.
What
Right.
time is it where you're at right now?
Currently, it's 5:40.
Okay, yeah, you're in Central Time Zone.
Okay.
Jackal, are you
Uh,
in the same time zone as I am, or
it's 6:40 where I'm at, so I'm
okay, so
Eastern.
you're in Mountain Time,
Okay,
same
so
as
Jackal's ahead of me by an hour.
or
I'm
no,
in Mountain Time. It's 4:40 here.
yeah,
I'm
no,
Mountain Time.
I had it backwards. So Jackal's
Yeah.
on
Okay, so you're
Eastern Time.
behind me.
Mhm.
Okay. Okay.
I'm thinking I might do a BS version of the um New Year's Eve thing if none of the other guys in our little community are doing something.
Sounds good to me.
Daggone it! How hard is it to fucking draw a tail? I'm
Uh,
trying to draw a werewolf tail, and it's difficult. Why is my
Well,
hand so shaky?
Jackal, I'm going to ask this question of you. Are you looking to make it a straight line, or are you trying to make it bushy? E.g.,
It's
are you trying to make it
probably
look like a wolf's tail, or are you trying to make it look more like a cat's tail?
it's gonna be more like a wolf's tail. But
Okay.
you do know Hell of a Boss, right?
Yeah, I remember it.
So I'm trying to draw the canine walking on two legs thing.
Okay, what I'm gonna
my,
suggest you do, um, just take your pen, put it about 2 steps down from what you think you're gonna want it to be at, and just draw that as an outline,
Okay.
and then essentially draw a cone around it, going out to a certain point. I mean, you've seen what wolf's tails look like, correct?
Yeah, it's tapered where it attaches to their spine, and
Yeah,
it flares out as it goes further away
it's
from the
essentially
body.
a cone.
Okay, that that's actually rather helpful. I
But
just need to get the three fluffs at the end of the tail.
yeah, given what I remember you describing your drawing, I am not going to ask you to show it on screen tonight.
There's really nothing here at all. I mean, it's just outlines at this point. I'm just trying to get the line art, which I am absolutely dog crap at.
Yeah, it's a skill that I never was able to develop. I'll be completely honest with you.
I don't think I have
I
any skill
I
with it
can
either.
I can
what are
paint and I can assemble kits, but you ask me to draw anything more complex than a stick figure, and yeah, nope, not happening.
all right? So when you're drawing people, and this is what I was taught because I took several years of art class. When you start off with however big your head is going to be,
Oh,
you typically when you're drawing humans, I think it's 8 heads down. So you draw 8 circles down. Let's see, what is it? Okay, one head is your normal head. For the torso, I think it's 3 or 2, and then a leg is another 4 or 5, depending upon how long or short you want the character to be. And then I think arms and legs is 2 or 3.
MM43. I believe it's the left one. I
I
But
think.
hope he's referencing the one in New York City.
Well, either way, then I'm right because what is New York? Lefty. It's quite left.
Yeah, I know.
All
I was
blue.
I was debating whether I should throw that up on the screen or not because of how ambiguous that comment was, but
Hey, it's all for the joke, man. What?
but
Okay.
basically that's to get the human body or whatever you're going to draw proportional. So you'll draw however many heads down and I can't remember exactly how all that worked out. I think arms are 4 head shapes, 2 for the upper arm and 2 for the lower.
Um,
And then of course your
for anyone
hand.
that's interested with what I'm currently doing, I'm taking some of the fluorescent paints I have and applying it to various areas that look like they would actually light up if this is actually a vehicle in use. So
Are
the
you
little,
making an APC?
yep,
They're called Dadgunnit, what are they? It's not a rhino.
yep, that's exactly what this is.
Oh, that's a rhino. Okay.
This is a
So
Demos pattern rhino,
No, red
which,
paint.
ah, okay.
which ironically enough, given it's a Blood Angels vehicle that I'm
It's
working
gonna be
on,
red.
yep,
A red rhino. Ah,
exactly.
Nice.
It's going to be a sister vehicle to this one that I've had finished for quite some time.
Oh no.
I know this.
Only
Oh
this one,
no.
I had to seal the back hatch shut because I did not know that the clearances for the back hatch were off. And I don't know if you guys can tell, but there's color shift paints on these quarter panels that
Mhm.
correspond to the shoulder pads of the squad that's actually assigned this particular vehicle.
Oof. Okay, I'm getting that reference off the screen. Yikes. That was a mistake.
But since this one I was able to do it where I'm able to open the hatch, it is going to be a little bit of extra detail being done on the interior.
It won't let me switch my camera around. I was going to try to show you what I'm working on.
Hell yeah.
Anyway, so
Okay, let me bring you up to full screen there, Ghost Bill.
can you let me know if you guys can see? Because I can't look at my screen because it won't let me flip my camera around.
Oh, nice.
So this is a portal axle, and it broke. So I have a new housing, and I literally have to disassemble this entire axle and transfer everything over to the new housing, and it works identically to a live-size axle.
Ooh, nice.
So if you got the skill set to deal with one, you've got the skill set to deal with the other one, just on a smaller
Yes.
scale.
This is just a million times easier.
Hey, more power to you, man. I'm mechanically inclined enough to know when I need to get a mechanic.
Well, like I tried to get into the military when I was 18,
Okay.
and I was rejected because I had open heart surgery when I was 1.
Yeah, that's not something the military likes to
Oof.
risk.
No, and the sad thing is I scored a 98 on my ASVAB for the Marines.
Wow. That is impressive. I know a lot of us that were in the Army like to give Marines flack and vice versa, but when it comes to getting a job done, I am very happy to have Marines covering my 6.
Yeah, sure.
I mean,
Absolutely.
I've never met a scarier group of people when they get upset.
Oh my gosh, they sell U2 little bobbleheads of this thing. Oh gosh.
Jackal, trust me when I say you don't want to go digging into it.
What is it?
Just
Has
from
been
the
Hotel and Hell of a Boss.
Ah,
It's a little quasi-independent animation thing
Yeah.
done by a group of people that is questionable on their skill set.
and I believe
And I'm not going to say
they're
questionable on the animation side because the animation's interesting. Their storytelling, Yeah, not in my opinion, not so much. But what do they say about opinions?
Everybody's got one, and they all stank.
Exactly.
They're
Well,
like they're like
at least my
assholes.
bearings are still good in here.
That's good.
Well, I'm getting
They're
rid of
like
the.
assholes.
I'm closing this tab. I don't like this. This is getting bad. I'm going back to drawing this thing with its leg blown off. Screw
Yeah,
this.
Jackal.
Well,
If you remember when we were talking about that in the backstage a while back, I warned you not to do a lot of digging into it.
Well, the thing is, in order to get the correct picture so I can figure out just what to draw to make these people upset when they see their favorite girl missing a leg and an arm.
wow.
Well, I mean, what else is going to happen to you when you're, I don't know, 8 feet from a, impact of a high explosive artillery shell?
He's essentially doing a fictionalized version of Operation Valkyrie.
Yeah, okay.
What's that again?
The German plan to remove Adolf Hitler from the census.
Oh, yeah, that one. Okay, yeah. And well, except for
Which
a
just
little
saying
bit,
that name's probably going to get this stream zapped, but whatever.
as a historical figure, who cares? They can go eat someone's butt with their tongue. I don't care. In fact, I bet they do. I mean, we are talking about
No,
some depraved individuals. Never touch a crayon stash.
well, it's about narrative. They want you to believe what they want you to believe about that historical figure, and they don't want other people listening to what you have to say that contradicts their narrative. Which tells me that there's something about Adolf Hitler that they weren't honest with us about. Now, of course, what happened was messed up, obviously, but there's information there that they don't want the public to know about all that. That's
Well,
what I believe.
there's information about a lot of that stuff that we're not going to touch on any further because
Yeah.
we all know how YouTube and mainstream media is going to respond.
Oh yeah.
Can we talk about Antarctica and how he probably actually died in Antarctica?
Let's save that for the next time I do a conspiracy theory stream.
Yeah, let's do a conspiracy theory stream on that.
Because believe me,
Even I didn't hear that.
Okay, let me put it this way, Ghost Pill. I've actually collected conspiracy theories over the years.
Mm.
And you know about Paperclip and High Jump and Fishbowl and Dominic.
Oh yeah, I know about some of them that you probably have never heard of that I am not going to mention here.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah,
they're still technically classified.
Once you go down that rabbit trail, it changes your entire perspective, even on what the Earth looks like. It gets pretty weird.
Oh yeah, it does.
And it makes you wonder, what is the real picture? What is being hidden from the people to maintain their facade of control?
Okay, here's one that I will touch on because, quite frankly, if they were to zap the stream over this, they're being more paranoid than, well, they have any need to be. How much do you know about out-of-place artifacts?
Say that again?
How much do you know about out-of-place artifacts?
A little bit.
Have you seen the pictures, so, quote unquote, of the hammer that is in the same rock strata as a T-Rex skeleton?
Yes.
That is an out-of-place artifact. Another one of my favorite sub-elements on this is the conspiracy theory about the Grand Canyon.
Well, that was a strip mine. And
not what I mean. I mean about the fact that they may or may not have found Egyptian artifacts.
Oh no, I know. Yeah, they did. They found them there. And if you do some research, they have found quarries where it looks like they had some type of laser device where they literally cut the rock out of rock. and then they literally levitated it to wherever they built stuff.
Yep. Not to mention all the stuff down in South America that looks like the stone was liquefied and shaped.
Yep. Punta Puto or whatever it is.
Yeah, I can't pronounce all those South American names.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. It's like they liquefied the rocks and they mushed them together and then solidified them.
Mm-hmm.
And they
Basically,
have
it's a
no
bunch of-
explanation for it.
Basically,
everything
it's a bunch
fits
of
so
Tico Taco.
And everything fits so tightly they can't. There's no way to get anything in between them or separate them.
Here's another fun one for you. The background radiation in the Great Pyramid.
Yeah.
The radiation in that particular structure is 2 or 3 times higher than the background radiation anywhere else in that part of the world.
Well, and they never actually found any mummies inside of those pyramids.
Oh no. And MM43, you are not wrong. But here's where the fun part is. If I remember correctly, those South American stones are not igneous rock. Igneous rocks like obsidian, you expect to be able to melt down and reform.
Yeah, those aren't.
Yeah, these are more along the lines of the sedimentary rocks that you find in other parts of the world.
Yeah, interesting.
But no, that's
what about them disappearing all the giant skeletons?
Again, that's something I could do a full stream on that topic alone. Okay.
So you know who L.A. Marzulli and Steve Quayle are then, right?
Oh yeah, I follow both of them quite closely.
We're on the same page then.
Let me put it this way. About 2 years before COVID, when one of the last True Legends conferences that Steve Quayle hosted, I was there for.
Oh, really? I wanted to go to that. I wasn't able to make it.
Yeah, it's really actually funny. They had drill that weekend, and I had actually scheduled an RST for it. My unit wanted to fight me about that because I was a quote-unquote platoon sergeant at that time. I was like, look, I have never missed a drill. Even when I had to make it up, it's always been one of these things where I have been here physically present. I'm asking for this one drill. That's it. It's a conference I've been looking forward to since I came off of active duty. I think you guys can live 48 hours without me being physically present.
That's awesome that you made it to that, because Steve Quayle, he doesn't show up very often anymore. You have to go to his website to get his stuff.
Yeah, but then again, Mr. Quayle's also in his 70s or 80s, and I think he's really trying hard to pass the torch on to the next generation.
Yeah, but is it really anyone who's willing to take it? Because L.A. Marzulli is getting old too. And Rob Skiba's dead.
Okay, there's a gentleman by the name of Doug Thornton.
I've heard the name.
He runs a YouTube channel called American Vindicta. He's actually kind of sort of picking up that torch. And honestly, he does a lot of the stuff he says is very, I'm going to say red pill adjacent, even though it's not full on red pill.
Okay.
So it's something you guys might find interesting. Or you might listen to him and say, Mando's an idiot. He doesn't know what he's talking about. We need to stop listening to him.
That would be hilarious.
I've been down the rabbit trail too much for that.
Oh, me too.
Okay, gentlemen, I've finished what I'm going to do for the interior of this Rhino. And right now I'm just in the I'm holding it together so that way the glue actually cures properly. But you can see what I decided to do for detail work.
What are you doing inside of Rhino? Get out of him.
Uh,
Hey, I'm not inside of that particular rhino.
Just saying,
Besides,
phrasing.
he's not,
You're not old enough for him.
well, not only that, but he's not equipped properly for me to go anywhere near him. I'm not a part of the alphabet community.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Or the elderly community.
Yeah.
No, he's not that old.
No, I'm 20 years shy of that one.
Dang.
I can hear him now getting mad.
Oh,
I could...
he's gonna, if he listens to this stream later, he's gonna give me a big FU next time Aaron Gilded, or next time I join him on a stream. But odds are good he probably will never even hear this conversation, so I think we're all safe.
Well, you know I don't give a rat's patootie about what he thinks.
Well, yeah, I know. I've seen your BS reports.
Yeah, done it. Why did my hand twitch like that? Come on. Straight lines, man. It's not that difficult. Sheesh.
Hey, Jackal, just be glad you're not trying to do a technical drawing and have a twitch like that.
Oh my god.
Yeah, no.
Because believe me, when you're working with AutoCAD Inventor and you have that happen, oh, the language that you use is far harsher than what I would allow on this stream currently.
Mm.
Yeah, like I said, I'm trying to
But-
draw dog legs. That's not something I'm familiar with.
But if you guys notice, the back hatch on this vehicle right now is actually able to hold in place. I magnetized it.
You glue magnets on it?
There's 2 high-powered magnets glued on the interior. And then there's a paper clip that I literally diced apart to give it enough ferric material so that way it would stick in place.
Do you have enough paint to put a decal that says FU on the inside of that vehicle?
Considering the fact that Blood Angels wouldn't do that, it would be more on the outside, right on the ramp, so that way when it drops down, if you're dumb enough to be standing right there, you won't be seeing
You'll
the
be-
10 angry Marines coming out.
You'll be crushed. Oh yeah, that's funny. That's just like Globex dropships. They are notorious for landing directly on top of hostiles. Because they know that the hull is designed to handle that kind of impact, so they will just flat out pancake you before the battle even starts. The troops won't even disembark. They'll just crush you, and then everybody will get out
Mm.
and kill your friends. Wait a second. Hold on. Something's up with this. Let me go back to my reference.
Ooh, obviously water's gotten in here. Ooh.
Part of your chassis is a bit rusted out.
No, it's inside the diff. It's a little milky,
Mm.
Oh, that's not good.
which means that water's gotten in with the lubricant, whatever you want to call it. But that would make sense since the axle was busted that probably happened.
Hey, Jackal, if I
Yeah.
can get this image to actually show up at full screen, I'm going to share it. And I want you to tell me if this is kind of what you're describing with your Globex dropships.
I swear if it's just an Imperial Guardsman getting crushed, I'm gonna laugh.
No, this is the vehicle I'm talking about. It's not the actual event.
Oh, well, I think I know which one you're talking about. Okay, gone it. What are they called? Warhammer is not my expertise.
Thunderhawks.
I think I must be thinking of the fighters. I must be thinking of the fighters, not the dropships.
Yeah, it's not wanting to let me share the image. Why on earth not?
Because it doesn't like you.
Yeah, forget about it.
I'll look it up later. I bet I'll recognize it when I see it.
Well,
I've watched
honestly, if
enough.
you look at hey, MM43, you have a good night yourself. But honestly, if you go back to Birth of a Monster, I I built one of these earlier this year. I still actually need to finish out or figure out how to do the base and finish the model itself.
Yeah, good night. Good night, MM43.
Oh gosh. Okay, that.
Now,
Nope.
I am
That.
planning to go for about another hour. If you guys would like to duck out, since we're not doing a topic stream, just go ahead and bounce out, do what you need to, and then bounce back in.
Eh, um. I'm just
If we were doing a
attempting
topic
to
right about
draw.
now, I'd go ahead and say go ahead and break away for like 5 minutes, but
Daggone
we're not doing a topic. We're just here BSing and working on our various ways to keep our sanity in check.
Oh, is that what we're doing? Well, then I should probably stop what I'm doing because this is not helping my sanity at all.
I'm just talking about
As if
hobbies
you
in.
had any to begin with.
I'm just
No,
talking about hobbies in general, Joker.
uh. Okay. Well.
Because for most people, hobbies are what they use to keep themselves from going just absolutely BS insane.
yep.
I don't think that.
It's the same concept as the guy who does one fishing trip every year. Not because he actually catches anything, but because it gets him away from the wife for 2 weeks.
Ah. Understandable. What
I'm
kind
sure.
of
I'm sure we all remember those particular movies and TV shows.
what in the hell? Okay, that's a very odd piece of clothing to put on a werewolf-looking thing. Okay. I can't draw that. I am not that good.
Well, with the interior of this rhino done, I am about to get started on the major exterior portions.
Oh
And I
god.
realized my silly self used the wrong paint for the drive wheels.
Silly NBC trained guy.
Well, it happens. I really need to actually start writing down in a notebook the colors I use for these things because my memory is not quite as good as it should be.
You getting old?
You know, it's probably that, and probably also the fact that my ability to pay attention has never really been the greatest.
I kind of get that.
I mean,
Okay.
there's a reason why when we're on streams, I'm regularly working on 2 or 3 different items at the same time I'm on the stream with you guys. Which, of course,
Oh.
annoys certain people, but yeah, whatever.
Squoo 'em. Not
Hey,
literally,
Polska
just
Bob. Good to see you in the chat.
it's Bob.
Uh, if you'd like to jump in, I've made this one an open invitation because it's not a topic stream. It's just kind of a chill hobby and BS stream. Just say the word and I'll drop the link for you again.
Guess that's the way the shirt would fall. I don't know how to draw these perspectives. Daggone it.
Pulse Kebab, you're not far from the mark. It's actually a Demos pattern Rhino APC from the Horus Heresy Warhammer 40,000. Once I get certain elements taken care of, it will be getting done up in Blood Angels colors of red, black, and gold.
Just wait until it hits 400,000 instead of 40.
The 40,000 is actually the year,
Yeah, I know.
which it's really kind of humorous in some of the more recent lore for 40K. After Gilliman woke up from his 10,000 year nap, he finally figured out what the year was. He looked around and was like, "You guys forgot how to tell time? What happened?" Because no one in the Imperium actually knows what year it actually is.
Oh my gosh.
To me, that's one of the most disturbing and hilarious parts of modern 40K lore.
Mando, if somebody were to suddenly get struck with the concussion blast of a high explosive and slowly bled out, would they likely
Not for a
die?
live stream, Jackal.
Oh, daggone it. Okay.
That would get me nuked.
Okay, well, I have to do adjustments there. The shirt is supposed to be ripped.
Hey, Polska, I know you can't jump on. I know you cannot jump on because of your location, but what was your favorite model that you assembled back in the day?
Oh, it wore gloves too? Ugh.
And actually,
Ugh.
Jackal, since I know you scratch build various models of vehicles, what's your favorite thing to assemble when you're just wanting to throw something together for the giggles of it?
Currently it's just fuselages for aircraft. Because trying to get the aerodynamic shape of an aircraft that's supposed to be able to fly and pull very, very erratic maneuvers in an atmosphere and in a vacuum is kind of difficult.
Yeah, I
But
can
it's a
believe
good
it.
challenge, especially since I have zero technical knowledge on aerodynamics, even though I wanted to go to college for that so I could quite literally become a rocket scientist because that would have been awesome.
Oh,
But then again, I
that would
don't
have been
think you guys.
that would have
Yeah.
been scary.
Now imagine if I met all of my expectations, which means I would have been a mechanical engineer, electrical, civil, mechanical, and, well,
Aeronautical.
aeronautical. So I could build everything in that vehicle from scratch myself with no help.
Have I told you the AutoCAD joke?
I do not believe so.
There's a pet store owner, or there's a guy who walks into a pet store, and he notices the owner has a group of monkeys in the back. Well, he goes to look at the first one and sees the first monkey is labeled as going for $500. The guy looks at the owner and goes, "Why is this monkey $500?" Pet store owner looks at him and goes, "Oh, he can use AutoCAD." The guy goes, "Oh, okay." Goes over to the next one, sees that that monkey is priced at $1,500. And he looks at the owner and goes, "Why is this guy listed as 1,500? Oh, he can use AutoCAD Inventor." Goes to the next one and sees that he's listed for $10,000. After looking at the other two prices, he looks at the pet store owner and goes, "Okay, what's the deal with the 10K one?" And the pet store owner goes, "Oh, he claims to be an engineer."
Okay. I
Most
feel like that's a
draftsmen,
jab. I feel
mo,
like that's a
mo,
jab at certain people.
most draftsmen, and Tommy can attest to this next time he joins us, don't really like engineers that much. Most mechanics don't really like engineers that much.
No, not
Most
really.
engineers like to think that their stuff don't stink and that they know everything about everything, and they tend to forget about the fact that, well, you can design something to be the most effective and interesting thing on the planet, but if no one can actually build it or maintain it, it ain't gonna be worth a darn.
No. That's why the T-34 was such an effective weapon against the Germans, because not only was it at least somewhat effective against panzers, it was quick and easy to produce and repair. You could literally salvage one part from a damaged T-34, slap it into one that's mostly intact, and you'd have pretty much a whole tank that you could
Well,
deploy into battle.
honestly, there's a little bit more of a practical example that when Outlaw gets back, I'm sure he can attest to. A lot of cars are over-engineered mechanically.
Like German cars.
No, even American and Japanese cars.
Uh,
There are certain Ford trucks right now that you literally have to take off part of the front quarter panel to change the oil.
I'm sorry. Did you say you have to take a whole panel off?
You have to
Just
take apart almost a quarter of the truck to be able to change the oil because they put the oil filter right behind one of the wheels.
Oh my gosh. Alright, yeah, the designer of that vehicle needs to be found and slapped repeatedly across the face. He's an idiot.
Yeah, the engineer for that one should be sent to the Pop School of Engineering.
The
KISS.
pop.
Keep it simple, stupid.
The pop school of inventing.
Be honest. If Pop were to run a school for engineering, that's what he would call, or what his
That would be his modus operandi, just quite literally. Keep it simple.
exactly.
Also, I saw a cat paw with very long nails on it.
Yep, that's Evie.
Yeah.
Yeah, anytime I'm doing any kind of a stream, whether I'm hosting or just joining in, she wants to be right in my lap. And when I'm painting, she thinks she's a good little helper.
Well, I mean, it's better than her just being there, being a pain in the arse.
But Outlaw, did you hear what I mentioned to Jackal about how they've over-engineered some modern trucks?
I have not, brother. I wasn't here for it. What
Okay.
was we talking?
Can you confirm or deny that there are certain Ford trucks right now that in order to change the oil, you literally have to take apart about a quarter of the vehicle to get to the oil filter?
Oh yeah, yeah. The F-250s are notorious for having to have the whole cabs removed off the frame just to get to some of that stuff. Yeah, they're overly modified, in my opinion. Yeah,
What in the hell?
Yeah, they over-engineered it.
exactly.
Yo! Who made... Yo! That's a
I also think that
binder!
if Pop were to run a school for engineering, his whole curriculum could be summed up with the "Keep It Simple, Stupid" acronym.
Oh yeah,
Oh, no. Okay.
definitely.
Because
Yikes.
I'm willing to bet he would have an engineer come in and he'd or let that engineer do his thing and then look at him and go, "Okay, Pretend like you're talking to a grunt and explain it again.
Pretend like you're talking to a grunt.
Yeah, I mean,
Oh.
and I don't know very much about the newer Chevrolets, but I would imagine they're the same way, and then the Dodges or the Rams, they're now Ram, but yeah,
Which that's honestly one of the most ironically named vehicles on the road.
Dodge Rams.
You either dodge or you get rammed.
Yeah.
And if you really want to break your brain, look at a picture of... Actually, I'm not going to say that on live stream. I will wait until we're backstage.
Okay.
Because it's something that will get me zapped.
Mm.
Even though it's funny as fornication.
I don't think fornication is actually funny. It's more like unsanitary.
Jackal, if I used the other word, it would be another reason for the YouTube algorithm to look at us.
I know. I'm just making a statement while I'm trying to draw shorts from the side.
Trying to draw shorts from the side or sharts from the side. Asking for a friend.
Hopefully not sharts, but considering the people that probably look at shit like that. Oh, dang it, I slipped up again.
You're fine.
This nonsense, there we go. That's actually a more accurate description of what this is. I would be surprised if there are people that drew this particular character sharding.
Yeah.
After this, can one of you come to my house and shoot me?
After looking at that project, Jackal, are you sure you don't want to just, since I know you're familiar with SCP, do you want a Class A amnestic?
I'm good. Just shoot me. I'll come back in about 24 hours.
Well, you are the living dead kid of the community.
Yeah, I'm not I'm not Dr. Bright, but I'll come back. Why are these shorts so short? Her cheeks
Jackal,
must have been out.
You don't want to know the answer to that question. I made the mistake of if it's the character I'm thinking of, I made the mistake of asking my ex that question. I regret everything about that conversation.
I regret everything.
What are we talking about?
You don't want to know.
He said, I regret everything.
All right, hang on, Outlaw. If I'm saying I regret everything about a conversation, do you really want the answer?
No, I think I'll pass.
Say again?
I think I'll pass.
That's a smart move.
And given some of the stuff we've talked about in the backstage, you know how hard it is for me not to want to go somewhere again.
Box truck.
Lordy.
Gonna have to call for a box truck after this. Gonna have to haul me off to the nearest mental institution.
Okay, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and let those of you on the panel and those of you in the chat have a little bit of a vote on this. One, if I should go ahead and put the dozer blade, dozer spikes on this particular Rhino. Two, if I should leave it without. Here's an example of one of them that has the blades attached.
I'd say leave them off on that model. Because from what I've seen, at least from animations of them rolling into combat, they didn't always have blades on them.
Oh no, most of the time they
depended on
don't.
the environment. Yeah, it depended on the environment they were anticipating engaging in. And
also bear in mind on the pintle mount, it is going to have twin linked of the standard bolters and one pintle mounted heavy bolter.
Are they
because
the
the
same
squad that
caliber?
say again.
Are both of those firing the same caliber?
Lore wise, I don't think so. Model wise, they definitely don't look identical. But
Because I know the twin linked, they should be smaller caliber. If it's a
well,
heavy bolter, then it's probably bigger.
the twin linked bolters in this are essentially the same caliber as the bolt guns carried by Marines.
Okay, yeah, then they're definitely like standard caliber, and if it's a heavy bolter and it's only a single mount, then it's probably a heavier caliber. Just guessing. I'm
Well,
not a lore guy.
okay, Jackal. There's one of the bolters right here. I don't know if you can see it clearly.
I can almost see it, yeah. In comparison to
And
your finger, yeah.
is it? And that's the heavy bolter right there.
Okay, so yeah, it definitely does look like it's a larger caliber because that barrel is thicker.
Oh yeah.
Question is, how do you expect to get much accuracy out of that when the barrel is so short?
Okay,
It's like a
Jackal.
stub-nosed howitzer.
Okay, hang on, Jackal. All flavors of bolter, whether it's a bolt pistol, a bolt gun, a bolt rifle, or a heavy bolter, fires what is essentially a armor-penetrating, rocket-assisted grenade.
Yeah, it's like a gyrojet.
Essentially,
Kind
yeah.
Yeah, it's
I
like a
the
gyrojet
standard
kind of
bolt gun
projectile.
is described as firing a 40 millimeter self-propelled armor or caseless self-propelled armor-penetrating mass-reactive shell that is designed to detonate upon impact, or correction, upon penetration of target's armor.
Yeah, basically just a rocket-propelled can of Red Bull
Yeah,
packed with TNT.
it's basically a Mark 19 being fired as a machine gun, or not a machine gun, but as an assault rifle.
I'm actually surprised you would describe it as that because I've heard some people say if you dare call this thing a assault rifle, I'm gonna break your arm. And that was a
Well,
direct quote, by the way.
like I said, that I'm saying that's essentially what the bolt gun is when fired by a Space Marine.
Well, considering
When
how big those guys are in comparison to an average human, that's not surprising.
Yeah, when fired by an average human, the bolt gun is a crew-served weapon.
Yes, it's going to need a crew of at least 2 to fire that thing.
I know for the Imperial Guard models that have, or when you're using it, or when you're doing a heavy weapons squad with a heavy bolter, it is 2 models, or 2 infantrymen for the gun. And there's actually a breakdown that I have in one of the older source books where it essentially says that when they're on the move, one of the gunners is carrying the gun, the other gunner is carrying the ammo and the tripod. And I think he's also carrying the barrel.
What, the barrel is separate?
It would have to be.
Oh, gosh.
The standard bolter fires a round that's essentially the size of my fist. The heavy bolter is bigger. Substantially bigger. I put that on a little too thick, but oh well.
I don't think Globex uses many things like that. I mean, there are models of what is supposed to be called a crusher rifle, which is essentially a 20 millimeter heavy battle rifle that can fire in fully automatic. That's the closest thing to a bolter that they have access to.
Yeah, now, and the thing is, what I just described to you as the Space Marine's standard weapon, the bolter, that's not even the most ridiculous ordnance that they have Space Marines carrying in 40K and Horus Heresy.
Oh, of course not. They've got stuff all the way up to, what is it? Those gigantic what do they call them? Melta guns or something like that.
Yeah, in fact, the squad that this Rhino is being built for, in the Heresy, your special weapons are in full squads. This particular squad is the Meltagun squad.
Yeah.
The other Rhino belongs to a squad that carries rotor cannons.
Oh, yeah, that's fun.
So 10 guys with miniguns. Well, correction, 9 guys with miniguns with a sergeant carrying a sword and a plasma pistol.
Nice.
He's still a Marine, right? He's not a normal human like a commissar.
Oh yeah. Yeah, no, he's a normal, or he's a Marine. He's a member of the Adeptus Astartes.
Oh, okay. I see now. It's interesting how they took the aesthetic of a centurion, a Roman centurion.
Yeah, here's the squad leader for the Melta guns.
Yep. Again, they're using that same helmet design with the plume.
Mm-hmm. Oh, because these are such short-range weapons, I decided to give him a hand flamer as the sidearm.
A hand flamer. There's too much heresy for this. I need the heavy flamer.
Heresy.
Um,
Fucking hell.
no, he'll leave that to the Terminators.
I was about to ask, do they have a Terminator? Because then you're going to have the gigantic rotary cannons and the heavy flamer.
My Blood Angels Terminator squad is equipped with 2 heavy flamers, and the vast majority of the rest of the squad is equipped with close combat weaponry in the form of lightning claws.
Ooh, now those are cool. It's like giving somebody a punch with Thor's hammer, fully charged.
More like if you mixed Thor's hammer with Wolverine's claws.
So it'll slash you apart and fry you. Nice.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, Globex soldiers can do the same things with their gauntlet blades. They've got similar gauntlets to Predators from Aliens vs. Predator, and they can, with their own bodies, electrify the blades.
Oh, now here's something else that you might find fun. You see the blade that's attached to this guy's gauntlet?
Yeah.
That weapon is known as a chain fist.
Ah, so instead of a chain sword, it's a chain fist. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Basically, Terminators in 40K and Heresy are your line breakers and heavy assault specialists. And these are the guys that you send in to crack open little things like fortresses, starship hulls, emergency bunkers. Now, if that's what they're designed to crack open, what do you think it would do to a poor little unaugmented human?
They would cease to exist, last time I checked.
Yeah, they're basically the be-all, end-all of this battle is over with, you just don't know it yet.
Yeah, and it's just like Drek Special Forces. When those guys get dropped in, usually Imperials will immediately drop their weapons and go into full retreat. Because all they have to see is the emblem of the Special Forces Legion, which are usually painted on the sides of the vehicles. All they have to see is just a dropship with that insignia on it, and they start retreating, because they already know. These guys are automatic victory for Globex if they get boots on the ground.
Well, and the really kind of hilariously funny thing with this, or with 40K Jackal, is, yeah, Space Marines, they're ridiculous on what they carry on the regular, and what their elite soldiers carry. They've got enemies that will literally look at that and go, "Oh, that's nothing."
Oh yeah, I know. You've got I know the Forces of Chaos, they have some seriously bad stuff.
Well, Forces of Chaos are essentially Space Marines that have just decided to follow the Sith way of doing things.
Yeah, and I know that the what are they called? The dadgone, what are those, the cybernetic skeleton things?
The Necrons.
The Necrons. Good. Ah, man, my brain is bad. Yeah, don't they have weaponry that basically deatomizes flesh?
Oh yeah, yeah. Their basic warrior has a weapon that essentially looks like you got hit by one of the ray guns from Star Trek, set to disintegrate.
Yes, it literally just disintegrates you. Your armor
Hmm.
is left alone, but your
No.
organic flesh
Oh
is
no,
gone.
Jackal. The armor is also cooked.
Oh, you mean it's also
Necron.
reduced to ash?
Yep, Necron weaponry is
Ah,
the be all end all for I don't want to know you even existed.
okay. Dang. And don't those guys, once you quote unquote kill one, don't they just transfer their consciousness to another body somewhere else and just come back and fight you
Actually, it's a
again?
little bit worse than that. In the
Uh,
case of the Necrons, when you blow one of them apart to the point where it cannot continue the fight, it teleports itself back to whatever base of operations it's from, and they rebuild it.
so it doesn't, they don't even lose material.
Sometimes no.
Huh.
Literally, for the Imperium to get rid of a Necron occupation of a planet, a lot of times they have to get rid of the planet.
They just have to go full on exterminatus.
Yeah,
They said, screw this planet, just nuke the whole thing.
yeah. When dealing with the Necrons, or the Tyranids, or the Orcs, or occasionally the
Yeah.
Tau, depending on how malicious the Imperium feels like being, they basically follow the Ripley school of thought.
Hmm.
Nuke the entire site from orbit. It's the only way to be sure.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Only instead of just nuking the entire site, they're like, yeah, Commander, you see that planet? Yes, sir. I don't want to. Yes, sir.
Eh.
Yep.
Really, with that all it takes is everybody just evacuates the planet, or at least Globex would do this. They would just evacuate the planet once all troops are accounted for. Some random soldier is just instructed, you blast that planet out of existence. He'll just stick his hand outside of the ship and just conjure an energy blast in the palm of his hand and just fire it at the planet and make it disappear.
Well, since we're kind of on the topic of exterminatus, the thing is, in 40K, blowing the planet up is not the only way they can remove everything alive from that planet.
Well, I know they have another weapon that it almost
Oh,
looks.
I'm saying this for Outlaws' benefit.
Ah, okay. Well, you're
What's
more
going on?
knowledgeable on this. Go ahead and tell him.
So Outlaw, tell me, what do you think would be the most egregious way to get rid of the population of a planet and still leave the planet relatively potentially able to support life in maybe a few decades?
Um. Hmm. I'm not
Now,
sure.
I will give you a hint when it comes to this particular brand of what's known as exterminatus.
Yeah.
Think about what this planet in real life dealt with for 2 years.
Oh my gosh, I'm thinking of what you're thinking of now. Oh gosh.
One of the
Hmm.
nastier exterminatus weapons that the Imperium of Man has access to is
Mhm.
called virus bombing.
Hmm.
They will literally hit a surface of a planet with capsules similar to what you saw in the 007 movie Moonraker.
Yeah.
After this extraordinarily horrific fast acting virus has spread to pretty much every living organism and
Hmm.
technically non living things on the planet,
Hmm.
one ship will go into low orbit and fire a lance battery strike into the planet. It doesn't matter where they're aiming. They're just as long as they hit the atmosphere, they're good because it will. The amount of decay and degradation that's occurred rapidly
Yeah.
will cause a huge amount of flammable material to be present in the atmosphere.
It'll just
So
ignite
even
the
it,
atmosphere.
yeah, essentially they turn the entire planet into a massive Chernobyl grade firestorm.
Oh my gosh,
That's kind of awesome. I kind of like
I've
that.
yeah, I've seen animations, like fan animations of stuff like that, and
Oh
oh
yeah,
yeah, it looks just like a straight up beam, just of flame, just hitting the atmosphere. And the second it hits the atmosphere, you just see fire just spread across the
hmm
whole globe, the
and that
whole
Oh,
thing.
that's what the
Fi-
Imperium does when they want to keep the planet, but don't really care about the
The
people.
infrastructure or any
fire?
of the people on it.
Yeah,
Fire, you say?
Yeah, fire. Kill it
Ooh.
with fire, literally.
Oh, I
oh
like
yeah, yeah.
that.
They will. The Imperium of Man will literally erase planets from from the census with
Ooh,
the equivalent of the biggest firebombing that you've seen since Hiroshima and Nagasaki.
I love fire. Fucking love fire. It's
Dang.
awesome.
And
Kind of
then
makes
Unless
me
you
there's the type of exterminatus most people think of when they hear that.
hmm
Now, they have what are called cyclonic torpedoes.
Ooh,
These
interesting.
are giant ICBM-sized missiles
hmm
launched from cruiser-grade starships at a minimum that bore into a planet's crust, and once they all reach the core, they go
hmm
pop more or less simultaneously.
So you're saying
Interesting.
they have to fire more than one?
This is a fleet action.
Oh, okay, so it requires a whole fleet to participate. Ah, okay.
hmm And to make matters even more messed up, the Imperium's equivalent of a Corps of Engineers, the Adeptus Mechanicus,
hmm
Oh, the
they will
toasters.
they will have ships in near orbit to capture the psionic resonance from from a cyclonic torpedo exterminatus,
hmm
and they use that to create ammunition. There's a gun that can be put on some super heavy tanks and Titans called the Quake Cannon.
Wait a minute. Do Bane Blades have
There's
those?
a Baneblade variant that can carry a Quake Cannon.
Ooh, I
Nice.
like it.
Nice.
Well, now here's where things get messed with this weapon.
Yeah.
Its rounds scream until they're fired, because they are literally the physical embodiment of the death of an entire world's population.
Mm.
And usually the vehicle onboard commissar, if this is in a Baneblade or
hmm
a Baneblade equivalent, or a
Yeah.
tech priest if it's on a Titan, will tell the crew members, "Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. The screaming will stop when we pull the trigger."
It's kind of cool.
Yeah, uh, there is some absolutely wild ordnance in the 40K universe. The small arms are bad enough. And
Mhm.
I've spoken at length about bolters.
Well,
The normal
I
humans have access to a weapon called the las gun.
It's
mm,
basically just a glorified flashlight if it were to be
Well,
used in real life.
oh no, here's where it's get or where it gets kind of funny, Jackal.
yeah.
The way it's described, it basically flash boils tissues on impact
Mm,
and can be fired at either automatic or high rates of fire.
hmm
But against the nonsense that's prevalent in 40K, yeah, it's essentially a angry flashlight. It is literally one of the weakest weapons in the game.
I like my
Well-
method better. I like having a colony of giant 50-foot tall people destroying your planet.
You and 50-foot things. What is up with you, man?
It looks like Slick South has decided to duck out for the evening.
It
Slick, I
is-
hope you have a good one. Hope we
Alright.
I
didn't
don't
bore
know.
you too badly.
I don't know, man.
See, the equivalent that I can think of that Globex uses for Exterminatus is well, they've got a multitude of weaponry there. I told you one, they could quite literally just order some random soldier, you blast that planet into oblivion and kind of, well, blow it up like something you'd see from Dragon Ball. Or they can fire what's called a Nova missile. Same concept as the
Cyclonic torpedo.
the cyclonic torpedoes. Basically, they've got a form of antimatter in a charge inside of an ICBM, and they only need to fire one. Once it embeds itself into the planet's surface,
Said
it
planet ceases to exist in any meaningful fashion.
yeah, because essentially what it does is it causes a critical collapse or an event horizon to occur at the point of impact, causing a gigantic supernova to occur a mile into the planet's crust.
So it's
So-
kind of like a messier version of the Death of Starkiller base from Rise of Skywalker.
Basically,
Or correction, The Force Awakens.
yeah, either one. It was one of the movies that they screwed up because Disney.
No, I just like the concept. I mean, you go back to Dragon Ball, they had, giant apes that destroyed planets.
Okay. You'll find this amusing then. One of the
Yeah.
most common adversaries that the Imperium of Man deals with that isn't Chaos Traders
Yeah.
are the orcs.
Wow.
Okay, I want you to picture something running at you that looks like the Incredible Hulk, about 8 foot in height, heavily muscled, hunched over, with basically the head is right in front of the shoulders. You're firing at this thing fully automatic with whatever rifle you were issued for defending your planet, and all you're doing is pissing this thing off.
Basically, just a souped-up, roided, very angry Shrek.
Now, the way I'm describing this is this creature A, animal, B, vegetable, or C, fungus?
I know the answer, Outlaw. You try.
What was that?
Animal.
I would kind of say it's an animal.
It is a animated sentient fungus.
Oh, no.
They grow from spores. Literally, all it takes is a few spores to land on a planet, and you're gonna have an infestation really quickly.
No, I don't like that. No.
Oh no, hang on, Outlaw. Here's where things get even more hilarious when it comes to these things. There's actually a meme of this that floats around 40K fan sites from time to time.
Yeah.
10 billion with a B Imperial Guardsmen marching around all the surface area of a planet after an orc invasion. Orc status minimal. Because after an orc has landed, unless you exterminatus the thing with virus bombs and or cyclonic torpedoes, it's never going to be 0 again.
Oh my god.
These things take more killing than the xenomorphs from Alien.
No,
Yeah,
I don't
'cause
like that.
Because
And the
they
thing
are
is,
literally
they're not that smart.
No, they're just they have this ability to make their weapons fire based on willpower to fight alone without any mechanics or ammunition.
Yeah,
I don't like that. I really
Outlaw,
don't.
you're fairly mechanically inclined, correct?
To a degree, yeah.
If you were to come across an orc vehicle, let's say you came across an orc bike, one
Yeah.
of the simplest orc vehicles in the game,
Mhm.
and you were told by a member of the Adeptus Mechanicus, take this thing apart and find out why it moves so quickly.
Mm-hmm.
You may not even be able to take it apart because the entire chassis of the thing could literally be one solid piece of metal welded together.
Oh, holy fuck!
And the only reason it works is because the orc driving it and 10,000 of his best buddies
Yeah,
all believe it's going to work.
we're fucked.
Yeah, I like the implication of religion that the developers of Warhammer actually used, because this is definitely a parody of some religious
Well,
beliefs.
what most people don't realize is 40K, for as grim, dark, and nasty as it is, was actually a parody on a lot of things from the 1980s.
Yeah, because it was made way back in the day.
Mm-hmm. And if you actually look at some of the early artwork and lore from 40K, it honestly makes you think that the people who were involved in it were on a cocaine bender when they wrote it up.
I mean, it wouldn't surprise me. I mean, you did say it was in the 80s.
I the less I say about Slanesh on an open channel, the better.
Yeah, let's not get into Slanesh. Or the Dark
But
Eldar. Let's not even touch that.
well, yeah, we can bypass or how it is they brought Slanesh into existence, and even toned down, it would be nightmare fuel for some people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, to me, it just makes me want to find the people that wrote this stuff up, find their house, and Molotov it.
But um, if you one of my favorite spin-off games from the 40K universe is Necromunda.
Mm-hmm.
If you look at the early artwork for Clan Goliath and Clan Escher,
Mm-hmm.
one of them is definitely heavy metal bands from the 80s,
Mm-hmm.
and the other is militant feminism.
Uh,
Oh fuck!
yeah.
And it is absolutely hilarious. And the Clan Orlok that I've shown you guys photos of,
Yeah.
that's basically a 40K equivalent of a biker gang.
Damn. Yeah, they're fucked.
Hey, just remember, if it's crazy, insane, and ridiculous and exists somewhere in pop culture, there's a
Mm-hmm.
40K version of it that takes it up to 11.
Mm.
I mean, isn't that Warhammer's kind of their shtick?
Oh,
Take
it is.
anything that actually exists and always turn it up to 11?
Well, kinda, sorta. I let's also point out the fact that GW, for as protective as they are of their IP, liberally borrows from other intellectual properties on the regular. There's a model that they released about 2 years ago for the Catachan subline of the Imperial Guard that looks almost exactly like Danny Glover from Predator.
Oh damn.
There's a couple models from the Slaves to Darkness, Chaos from Warhammer Age of Sigmar, that are essentially um, Arnold Schwarzenegger when he played Conan the Barbarian.
Yeah, that's not surprising in the slightest. Oh, what the hell was that? Okay.
But we've been going for right around 2 hours. We've dropped down to 1 viewer, so I think now's probably as good a time as any to go ahead and kill the live part of the stream. We might keep the backstage open for a little while, but might also let it go so that way those of us that are on here can grab dinner or jump onto other streams if they so choose.
Okay.
So, do you guys have
Wow.
anything in particular you want to say as a closing for tonight?
Nothing I can think of really.
What
Give me
about
a
you,
second.
Jackal?
Give me a second. Actually, before I do that, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to get this lycanthrope off my screen for reference because I can't focus with that nonsense in front of my face.
Well, while you're doing that, Ghost Bill, welcome back. We're about to kill this, so if you have any closing thoughts that you'd like to go ahead and voice.
I would totally be down for a conspiracy stream. That'd be fantastic.
Hey,
Oh yeah,
be
man.
expecting something to happen along those lines sometime this upcoming year. The first couple streams I did were kind of conspiracy related. And there's one that Crusader Knight was on where we were talking about the potential of what the Solarian hypothesis is. E.g., are we really the first sentient society on this planet?
Mm-hmm.
Well, if you look at things from a biblical narrative, quite possibly those who were booted out of heaven could have been.
Oh, there's a lot more to it than that.
Cliff,
I know
you
that's just
beautiful
the tip of the iceberg.
Oh yeah.
Cliff, you beautiful bastard. I love you, man.
Okay.
Better be a no homo on that.
Yeah, no homo.
So, aside from wanting a conspiracy stream at some point in the near future, any other closing items?
No, I kept getting, my phone kept dropping the StreamYard link for whatever reason, but no, I just enjoyed hanging out with you guys and dinking around with RC stuff and keeping busy talking and listening. That's just nice to have, man.
Oh yeah.
Hell
Well,
yeah,
hey,
man.
if you're on Gilded,
I don't have Gilded.
Okay. Well, fudge, that's going to make things a little more difficult to let you know when I do the next conspiracy stream.
How do I? Is Gilded like an app, kind of like?
Yeah, you can download it as an app. Do you have a pen and paper handy?
I can.
I'm going to give you my email, even though it is
Okay.
actually part of the channel description.
Let's see. Here's a pen. Here's a piece of paper. Okay.
Shoot me an email at gyowmando@gmail.com.
GYOW Mando at what?
At
Gmail?
gmail.com. And what I will do is make sure that none of the moderators have any issue with me sending you an invite. And I will see about sending you an email once I've got one from you.
Sounds good.
But yeah, it's an app. You can get it. I know you can get it on Google Play. I think you can get it on Apple. And last time I looked, it is free.
Okay.
And it's like Discord if Discord wasn't run by fascists.
So
Yeah.
what Discord would? Oh, that sounds fantastic, actually.
Yeah. It actually is a lot freer than Discord, I found. Say a lot more stuff on it.
All three of us on here each have our own channel on Gilded for our own shenanigans that we do.
Yep.
And sometimes Outlaw here likes to mess with Rhino and vice versa.
Well, Rhino seems like he's a whole lot of fun to mess with.
Oh, he is.
Oh yeah.
It's easy to get him going.
Yeah,
Definitely.
well, him and I both are from Colorado, so I find it really easy to mess with him sometimes.
Okay, well,
Especially when I talk about where he lives.
let's not dox anybody today.
No, I just refer to something, and his face turns red. He's like, "Yeah, you get it. Shut up."
Okay, so Jackal, do you have any closing thoughts for tonight? Hello?
I don't know where he went. I think he checked out already.
Okay, well, in that case, gentlemen, I'm going to go ahead and throw on my end of stream animation and kill this.
Heck yeah, man. Appreciate it.
Alrighty,
So you can stick
thank
around
you.
to BS for a few more minutes, or you can duck out. It's no skin off my nose either way.
Yeah, I think